All right, welcome back. Now, I want to go over some of these recent articles, news reports that have surfaced. But y'all remember this article from, I think, a week or so ago, May 16th, right? Maybe a couple weeks ago, this surfaced. And if I'm not mistaken, I made a whole video just about this story alone. Maybe 25-minute long video because it was so crazy. And I want dog culture, dog lovers to pay close attention. Dogs are an irrefutable nuisance to humanity. I mean, that cannot be denied. And when this story surfaced, this was a confession from dog culture. It was a confession that yes, dogs are problematic. They are bloodthirsty. They are not being provoked. They are not being provoked. I mean, this is a historic report, in my opinion. They're not being provoked. Nobody's wandering onto their territory. Their aggression is not territorial. It's not in response to you trying to take their food, take their toy. It's not in response to feeling like you're a threat. No, it is not. In fact, it's the opposite, as we all know. They attack victims that they feel are not a threat. Okay? When a dog feels like another entity is a threat and is more powerful than itself, most of them will try not to attack. But you'll have some of them who will still launch an attack. Like that dumb pug that I showed you yesterday. He was trying to attack a cow, a plastic cow. Now, for those who didn't watch this or who don't remember, it's very short, 2 minutes, 34 seconds. We're going to go over it briefly one more time.
A big change at the Wake County Animal Center just 2 days after WRAL Investigates told you about a dog attacking a mother and daughter there. No children under the...
Wait. This is crazy.
Age of 18 will be allowed on the adoption floor starting tomorrow. WRAL Investigates.
So no one under 18 are allowed to go into a shelter? They're not allowed on the adoption floor? 18? I mean, notice they didn't say no one 13 and under. They're even telling us, they're confessing to everyone that these things are triggered at the sight of 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. Y'all went all the way to 18? Speaks to how dangerous these things are.
Sarah Kruger is live now from the center in Raleigh with reactions to this. Sarah?
Deborah, this is a big reversal from how things have been. No more family outings here to choose a new pet, and that is getting some mixed reviews.
A family pet, usually a family decision.
Do you think it's a problem then that the children can't meet the dog until it's home?
Yeah, I do think that is a problem. I think that because I feel like that could end up leading to the dog not liking where it is and then potentially it attacking the child then at the house.
The change comes.
Now, y'all remember I went over that comment made by this girl. She said that if you don't bring the youngsters along, that when the dog gets to the home, it will not like where it is, which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, what kind of crazy statement is that to make? It's going to attack the youngster because it doesn't like the house that it's inside of? Huh? No. You bring the youngster to see if the thing will want to attack the youngster on sight. And all she's saying is, hey, the dog might launch the attack after you bring it home. So you may as well bring the youngster along to see if it will want to attack the youngster at the shelter. That way you won't waste your time going through all the paperwork and bringing it home. That's all they're saying, that they're trying not to say.
After a mother and her 8-year-old say they were attacked Sunday by this dog, Bagel. The mom shared photos of her daughter's injuries. After our first story aired, we heard from another woman who asked us not to give her name.
I could spot a mile away that Bagel was going to be, I would say reactive to anybody, but specifically children.
And so you think this...
Why? She could spot a mile away that the dog was going to be, I would say, reactive to anybody. They make me so sick using that word, reactive. Y'all are so deceptive. You're such liars. Make me sick. These things are not reacting. They always try to make it seem like something is being done to the dog by using that word. No, what these things are doing is launching attacks on sight as soon as they see these small people. They don't want to just say it like that because it articulates how bloodthirsty and unacceptable these things are. That's pathetic. Y'all can't even face reality. You dog lovers, you use these words to try to avoid dealing with reality, and that's pathetic. Further shows that you are involved in something you ain't got no business.
Reactive to anybody, but specifically children.
And so you think the staff had some indication that Bagel was not good with kids?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
She told us it felt like shelter staff was trying to force adoptions just to get the dogs out. WREL has reported on issues of overcrowding at the shelter that management seemingly has not been able to remedy for years.
It's like they're trying to rush you before you find something out that you don't want to see.
The mom who was attacked told us the shelter staff seemed unprepared. The shelter director has not responded to my requests for an interview, nor my questions about how staff handled the attack and what happened to Bagel. In a news release, she wrote, "The shelter environment can be overwhelming and stressful for many pets, especially when we are at overcapacity for most of the year. This policy helps us create a calmer, safer space for..."
What? Now, I've been over this several times. The shelter environment, there's nothing stressful about these shelter environments. Nothing at all. The only thing you have is a bunch of dogs, and some of them, sometimes they're barking. You hear barking. But again, how is that supposed to be stressful? She's stupid much. They want to bark. They enjoy barking. And nothing stressful about being around other dogs. That's what dogs do naturally. It kills me. And it's crazy how they try to make this argument. It's like, you got some nerve trying to make that argument when that is what these creatures do naturally. They want to form packs to be around other dogs. How are you going to turn around and say that that type of environment is stressful? Get out of here, goofy. So that's a lie. Nothing stressful about these environments. And they say especially when they are at another lie. This policy of keeping youngsters out helps us create a calmer, safer space for animals. That statement projects the idea that it's the youngsters coming in there acting wild, which is a lie. They'll simply walk in there quietly, calmly, slowly, and get attacked. Again, you're so deceptive. Y'all are such liars. Not allowing those under 18 to create a calmer, safer space for animals. Get out of here. These people disgust me so much.
Animals.
Shut up. Want to hear nothing you got to say, you retarded nutters. Always lying. So that story is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. But what it proves again is that these things are an irrefutable threat. Just a loose screw of the animal world. They just want to launch attacks for nothing. Completely unprovoked attacks. And they prefer to attack the weakest, most vulnerable targets. That's what they prefer. But that is not the only group that they attack. Okay? These nutters claim, they try to make the argument that the dogs try to attack these young people. They try to attack youngsters because the youngsters' behavior. Oh, you're acting wild. You're running. You're screaming. Okay? This shelter is saying the same thing. Everything they said is in line with their rhetoric. All of the nutter rhetoric that we've been hearing for years. Everything they said in this story is in line with that. Keep the kids away so we'll have a calmer environment. No, get rid of the dogs and we'll have a calmer environment. But these things, as we all know, especially here recently, because all the news is littered with these reports, we are dealing with attacks on mail carriers. Mail carriers. Now, I want y'all to do something. Go look at how long they've been talking about dog attacks on mail carriers on the rise. They've been saying this for a long... Here's one from 2014. Rise in dog attacks on mail carriers. From 2014. Even back then, the attacks on mail carriers were on the rise. Look at this. 2016. 2017. Dog attacks on mail carriers rise again. Okay? Every year, for the most part, they tell us about how dog attacks on mail carriers are on the rise. Now, what makes this important is that mail carriers are adults. These are not youngsters. These things are launching attacks on adults. Look at this. California leads. Dog attacks on postal carriers rise. They rise every year. They rise constantly. So where are all of these responsible dog owners? Where are they at? Because every year they say things like this. They say the same thing.
The letter carrier may
in response to attacks on mail carriers. They've been saying the same thing for years.
The letter carrier may come up, and just that interaction of handing the mail to the customer may trigger that dog to attack.
Do you know how?
Yeah, which is unacceptable. Just hand something to a nutter and their stupid dog wants to attack you? That's not a pet.
Control your dogs when the mail is delivered. According to the United States Postal Service, in 2024, Michigan ranked 7th in the country in dog bites and incidents against letter carriers, with more than 230 attacks. Good evening. I'm Maya Kaznicki.
And I'm David Andrews. Detroit also ranked high on the list, tied for the 10th American city with the most dog attacks. This has prompted the U.S. Postal Service to start a new dog attack awareness campaign.
News 10's Bobby Cushing shows us what to do to keep your dogs and letter carriers safe.
Now, this was a recent article, okay? This was recently published June 6, just a few days ago. Dog bite awareness campaign. Now, they always do stuff like this, but listen to this.
We're trying to bring education to our customers to make sure we can avoid that interaction altogether.
June marks the start of a new dog bite campaign. Mark Inglet with the United States Postal Service says the best way to keep someone...
Now, you hear that? We've heard this before. He said, let's just avoid the interaction altogether. Why?
Education to our customers to make sure we can avoid that interaction altogether.
You just want to completely avoid interacting with the dog altogether? Don't that go directly against this idea that dogs need to be rubbed on and that it's therapeutic for us to rub on them and that they're a must-have in society and it's therapeutic to rub on a dog, to come across a dog? I mean, these postal workers, they don't need therapy dogs because they're going from home to home where there are dogs. Why don't you look at this as an opportunity for mail carriers to stay calm as they deliver their mail? Stay calm because they're interacting with a bunch of different dogs. It's because y'all know the truth. These dogs y'all bringing to these places are drugged up.
Avoid that interaction altogether.
They're drugged up, and you heard him. He is not interested in having some lovely dog moment like they're always bragging about.
June marks the start of a new dog bite campaign. Mark Inglet with the United States Postal Service says the best way to keep someone safe from your dog is to keep them separate.
Please take your pet to a room, shut that door behind you before you come to the front door. We can get that package to you, take care of business, and we're on our way.
So the best way to stay safe is to stay away from dogs. To stay away from them. That's called xenophobia. That's what they're doing. They want their workers, postal workers, to practice xenophobia. And they want the dog owners to help them practice it. You know how in xenophobia rehabilitation, they want you to watch dogs, to look at them? They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to look at them and touch them. Put the dog in a whole different room. That way we don't even experience your dog. Just give you your mail and go on about our business. That's xenophobia, people. I told you, that term needs to be removed.
According to the USPS, Michigan ranks 7th in the country for number of dog bites and incidents involving postal workers, with 231 in 2024.
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously there's the harm involved. We've had letter carriers taken to the hospital and even worse.
Hector Hernandez is a dog trainer who has helped letter carriers protect themselves from dogs for more than 2 decades.
Some of those things really is to be aware of your surroundings. That's primary. And the next thing is having the tools necessary to defend yourself.
Now, Hector teaches these letter carriers that if they are carrying their mailbag, which they should be, they could even use that to protect them from a dog attack, like this.
That's ridiculous. For you to want your employee to be doing this is crazy. They shouldn't be subjected to such a threat. And y'all telling them, hey, just do this. Basically fight and wrestle with the dumb thing.
Make sure you have something in your hands so the dog bites that.
What if you don't? And what if it doesn't bite that? What type of nonsense is this?
Not you.
Hernandez says workers could be affected by a dog bite incident long after their wounds heal.
Oh, PTSD. Some of these dog attacks are very serious.
PTSD. That's interesting. He's talking about dog attacks on adults. And first thing you mentioned, PTSD. But you don't really hear them talking about that when the victims are young.
I think us as dog owners, we forget that every single one of these dogs' teeth is designed to cut flesh.
In Lansing, Bobby Cushing.
Every tooth is designed to cut flesh. All the more reason they don't want to interact with it. This is crazy to me. But yet, y'all hauling these same beasts into schools? Get out of here. They've armed their mail carriers in the UK with pepper spray or something like that.
News 10.
Now, Hernandez says there should be more responsibility on the dog owner to know how to control their dog and keep them away from letter carriers. Inglet says if a letter carrier sees a dog in the yard, they may skip delivering.
Okay, wait a minute. Y'all have been saying that for years. To put the dog in a different room. You don't want to interact with your dog, right? Be mindful of mail carriers. Put the dog in a different room. They've been saying that for years. But yet, dog attacks on postal workers increases year after year. So where are all of these responsible dog owners? Where are they at? All of this advice is worthless. And y'all say the same thing every year. I mean, I could understand if you gave dog owners different advice every year. They wouldn't know what to follow. But every year y'all say the exact same thing. Put the dog in a different room. We don't want to interact with your dog. But yet every year dog attacks continue to rise, which tells you these people are incapable of controlling these dogs. They don't care. They do not care. And when you're talking about a postal worker or a delivery worker, you're talking about people that dog lovers want their dog to interact with. These nutters sit up there waiting for the mail carrier and the delivery driver. These are the one guests to their homes that they can prepare for. They generally come every day at the same time. They'll often record their dog running up to the delivery driver or the mail carrier because they release the dogs on anticipation of their arrival. Oh, the mail carrier's coming to deliver. Let's let the dog go and let's record the interaction. What about that? What about these people's natural desire to force their dogs onto you? Now, like I was saying, they gave the postal workers in the UK some stupid pepper spray.
Posties will have a new weapon at their disposal to protect them against dangerous dogs. Australia Post will supply citronella spray in areas with the highest number of dog attacks. A trial found the water-based deterrent was 80% effective, forcing the animals to retreat. More than 44 posties are...
Now, did he have time to fumble around with some pepper spray in that moment? No, he didn't. Pepper spray ain't gonna help nobody. And even if they do pull it out and spray it in time, she just said it's 80% effective, which is probably not even that.
Forcing the animals to retreat. More than 44 posties are attacked by dogs each week.
Ridiculous. Now, you heard that quick report. Took them only about 22 seconds. And then they segue into this. Look at this. They just tell us about how much of a menace these things are to society, and then they go on to show us this.
Attacked by dogs each week. Retailer Toys R Us has gone bust for a second time. The company was saved from the brink 5 years ago when it was acquired by the brand Funtastic and revamped into a hobbies, toys and baby goods business.
See that? They went straight into the promotion of dogs. Look at that. Went straight from that report to this. Got a toy. This is part of the problem. And that's kind of bold, man. You go straight from a report like that into showing dogs being promoted to youngsters. This is part of the problem. Y'all need to stop projecting dogs as toys, as friendly. They need to be projected as the enemies that they are at the youngest age possible. Y'all need to be teaching these kids, don't get rid of dog toys. These things ain't toys. And look at this. They went from that report to this Toys R Us report and to show a dog toy, right? And then a few seconds later, you see a dog on the app. Look at that. Again, part of the problem. These are not our friends. They're our enemies. And they're definitely not compatible with youngsters. But yet y'all keep projecting them to youngsters. Yet they promote dogs to parents as something to get for their young, which is sick. When you're at the same time putting out reports like this, you big dummies. Now this surfaced 4 days ago, this report. These people are just stuck on stupid. This was posted 3 days ago. 3 days ago.
Finally tonight, we took a moment or two to unwind in the CBS News Miami newsroom with some puppy playtime.
CBS Miami got a special visit by therapy dogs to help us de-stress while we work on the newscast. It was
Really? The same creatures that you all are reporting to be terrorizing people in several sectors of society. Postal workers, young people. Attacks are on the rise. And it's somehow therapeutic to rub on these same creatures. No, it's not. And it's pathetic that you got to drug them up like this. That's pathetic. And they are no doubt drugged up. This is nasty. Nasty. Each and every one of you.
Visit by therapy dogs to help us de-stress while we work on the newscast. It was made possible through the Memorial.
To help you become filthy and nasty and full of germs, bacteria, parasites.
Healthcare system, which provides services for patients all throughout South Florida.
See, could you imagine working here? I'd leave. This would be all I need to see. These nutters are so inconsiderate. Why would you even want you? This is inappropriate, whether it be adults or youngsters. Could you imagine all your coworkers going to make out with these nasty, decrepit vermin? These dumb, drugged up mutant turds? These women going over here to make out with them? Get out of here. And no doubt they're not going to wash nothing. And it wouldn't make no difference if they did. You still nasty. You're not going to wash all that nasty filth off you. They're going to go right back to work, touching everything, just being nasty.
System, which provides services for patients all throughout South Florida, including animal therapy.
We've recognized that there's adjuncts to modern medicine that can help a patient heal or be more restful.
In fact, according to the national...
What? That didn't make no sense. And these dumb parasites, they're not doing nothing but laying there, sitting there. And look at this chick. Look at all of them. Stop. They're going overboard. Rubbing on these things is not that pleasant. Not even for you nutters. They do the most, man. Everything is extra.
According to the National Institutes of Health, animal therapy can help reduce depression and anxiety for hospitalized patients.
No, it don't. Rubbing on dogs don't do none of that for nobody. And ain't no report prove that. That's a lie. They took those pathetic studies that was conducted on people and their own personal dogs to justify this. To try to say that doing this makes sense. No, nutters.
of health, animal therapy can help reduce depression and anxiety for hospitalized patients, and it is steadily on the rise.
Wow, and you know, it does work because our staff was so calm
Everyone
and
was
cool
relaxed.
today.
Your staff was so calm. No, they were not. I mean, you brought a couple drugged up dumb mutts to sit in there, go to sleep, look around like the brain dead mutants that they are, sniff around on the floor, sniff them. Y'all just goofy behinds just sat there acting all goofy. Oh, this is so wonderful. Rubbing on them. Oh, I feel so much better. Shut up. Goofballs. You don't feel no better than you did before. You ain't in no better mood or higher spirits. Y'all just goofy.
I missed it.
No
I'm bummed.
stress.
I didn't get to
I
pet the
posted a
pups.
picture on my Instagram
They're so cute.
with the dogs, so thank you to everybody at Memorial for bringing them
Look
in.
at this drugged up, worthless turd sitting there knocked out because it's so drugged up. That is pathetic. That's what you got to do just to project it as a acceptable pet. Again, you don't have to do this with no other pet because no other pet needs medication. They're not acting wild and dumb, wanting to attack everything and lick on everything, wanting to eat all the time. They're not riddled with parasites like dogs, so they don't behave like these mutant turds. But the lying and deceptiveness, oh, they do so much for you. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're even hauling these things into courtroom, as we all know. As we all know, now this surfaced 3 days ago. This surfaced 3 days ago as well.
From therapy dogs to courtroom canines, these special dogs are letting witnesses and victims' voices be heard.
Therapy dogs trained to help victims testify in court. No. Ain't no dog gonna help nobody to testify in court. That's a lie. Listen to how magical they project these things as being. Dogs help people testify in court. Shut up.
These are all therapy dogs, and
Look at this deranged, neurotic, inbred, slobbering mutant. Don't tell me this thing helping us to do nothing other than get sick and be dumb. What is this thing quivering for? This deranged, smashed face, drugged up looking, this thing look high. It's barely alive. You telling me it's being therapeutic, it's doing something to us? Get out of here.
therapy dogs, and therapy dogs are certified.
It's shaking, quivering, and this mutt just vibrating, just naturally. Get out of here. Get that thing away from me, man.
They're all therapy dogs, and therapy dogs are certified, trained, and they also carry liability insurance. But what we do is
carry liability and listen to that. No, get these nasty things out of here.
we go a little bit further with training, and we use a courtroom.
Shut up, lady. You ain't trained nothing. These dogs come into these rooms and just sit there. You don't train no mutt to just sit there. You just drug them up.
Use a courtroom setting, and we teach these dogs courtroom etiquette. In other words, when they receive their courtroom canine certification, we try to make sure they are invisible to the jury and to the courtroom. These dogs need to go in, be quiet, and not be heard, but to do their job in relieving the anxiety of the witness or the victim.
Absolutely. And Max, what impact do you hope the dogs have in the courtroom, and how can people help?
I hope the dogs facilitate justice, essentially. There's a lot of witnesses and
this is out of control. Dogs are supposed to help facilitate justice?
victims that are simply too scared to confront their abuser or perpetrator in open court, and these
someone scared to confront their abuser in open court, and a dog is gonna help them? Shut up. These retarded degenerates. You're lying.
Trader in open court, and these animals help provide them and to find the necessary courage to actually testify.
They give them courage, really? So this is a new one on me. Dogs give people courage to confess hard to tell stories. Really? Yeah. That's a lie too. I'm gonna chalk that up as a lie. Just another lie about dogs.
Them and essentially serve justice, take the bad guys off the street. And the way folks can help is 20 states already have laws on their books recognizing and permitting canine in courtrooms. We need to bring Nevada into the 21st century, so please help us out.
That's pathetic. That's desperation to promote dogs. Bring them into courtrooms to help people testify, to give them courage. And again, what are the dogs going to be doing in these courtrooms? Nothing. Just sitting there, drugged up and sitting there. Anybody who would need something like this or would be helped by something like this, I feel sorry for you. That's what it is.
By speaking with your local politician, your judges, your DAs.
If you would like to see the training or learn more about the organization.
And these things, this is pathetic. This fake credit, these fake benefits that we get from these things. Y'all try to go over the benefits that dogs give to us, and they're all lies. That's pathetic. The floor is yours, nutters. And what do y'all do? Lie. Because there's nothing beneficial about these things. All you can do is lie. Allowing kids to feel safe and seen, supported. So, projecting this idea that they haul these dogs into these schools for the students, it's a lie. They're simply promoting dogs to the next generation. That's what they're doing. And the dog culture feels like they need to do that because dogs are annoying and despicable and dangerous. They're so unwanted and so horrible as pets. They feel like they need this type of promotion. We've talked about before how you don't see this kind of promotion with other pets. Why? Because you don't need it. Those other pets are not annoying, are not stinking, dumb acting, and dangerous, bloodthirsty, retarded. See, dogs need extra promotion because they're so deranged. This is very inappropriate. They are so easy to dislike. You've heard many people say that they are extremely easy to dislike. And this falls in line with the pattern that we've seen. This dog is drugged up. That's what they do. They bring drugged up dogs into these schools. This is horrible stuff. This is extremely immoral. Understand, this is not even normal dog behavior. So what they're also lying to these youngsters. Think about that now. They're promoting dogs to them, no doubt. And they're doing it with drugged up dogs, giving them a false example of typical dog behavior, which will increase the chances that they'll get attacked. Look at that. This youngster just put his face right up to the dog's face. Something that several trainers have told you specifically, don't ever do that. And don't ever let youngsters do that. So these nutter handlers, their job is to bring in these therapy dogs and instruct the youngsters to do everything that the experts tell you to not do. They instruct these youngsters to do everything that the experts say will increase the chances of an attack. But because these dogs are drugged up, they don't have, I guess, the energy to launch these attacks. But when these youngsters go out in the real world and deal with dogs that are not drugged up, what do you think's gonna happen? And that's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. Look at that. This is ridiculous. And they're playing a bunch of stupid music.
We welcomed some very special visitors.
Oh no, listen to this BS right here.
Spring Davis Elementary welcomed some very special.
And look, the old dog hag. Y'all need to get out of here. You crazy single old dog hags bringing your nasty basement dog into these schools.
Visitors. 2 therapy dogs from Go Team Therapy Dogs. Starting in April and continuing through mid-May, these furry friends came into our school not just once, but many times, visiting most.
That is disgusting. That's ridiculous. Look at how drugged up they are. See, I suspect they give them more drugs when they bring them into these elementary schools. This is horrible. So inappropriate.
Many times.
On the table, look at what they're teaching them. Look at what they're teaching them. In schools, you're always teaching the students, even when you're not going over a specific assignment. Your whole day, the whole day you interacting with those students, you're teaching them by the things you're doing, the things you allow, the things you don't allow. And what are they teaching them here?
Times. Visiting most, if not all of our classrooms.
Look at it, drugged up, drugged up, drugged up. That's pathetic.
These are not service dogs.
Look at this raggedy, decrepit thing. Now, do you see what that youngster just did? Isn't this one of those sudden movements? And he touched it. He basically, look at that.
These are not service dogs. Trained
Look at that. Look at that. This is nasty. On top of everything else, on top of how immoral this is, it's nasty.
Support a single individual. These are therapy dogs, here for everyone. Trained to offer comfort, calm, and connection, they brought something truly unique into our building.
This is crazy. They ain't done nothing but brought in some drugged up golden retrievers or Labrador, whatever they are. And look at this old dog hag just walking around.
Unconditional support that only a dog can give.
Listen to that. It's bringing unconditional support that only dogs can give. He's drugged up much, coming in here, laying down, going to sleep. They ain't doing nothing.
Support that only a dog can give. For our students.
They have some nerve. Gonna sit there and say, oh, no other animal can do this. All you gotta do is rub on them. But you can't rub on other pets, on other animals? And if you rub on other animals, what, it doesn't provide the same satisfaction or calming effect? Get out of here. You're a bunch of crazy, deceptive liars. That's what I don't like, man. Get out of here.
The visits were magical. Children.
The visits were magical. No, they were not. This is immoral. This is immoral. Disgusting behavior right here. And look at her just walking around with it.
Lit up when the dogs entered the room. Some quietly sat beside them. Many simply smiled and relaxed. Even those who typically struggle with focus.
This is what they're doing in our schools. Indoctrination. Dog indoctrination. It is horrible. This is criminal.
Anxiety. The dogs created safe, judgment-free moments where students could just be.
No, it's not safe. And you're not teaching them to be safe. You're not teaching them safety. Don't start talking about safety. And don't talk about judgment-free moments. These students are not in here passing judgment on each other like that. Who's judging these students? What are you talking about, you goofy nutters? Y'all said that 1,000,000 times. We want to provide a judgment-free entity. Okay, who's passing judgment on this young demographic? Nobody. That's who. Y'all just throwing out any rhetoric and lie you can think of that pop into your stupid head.
Created safe, judgment-free moments where students could just be. And that's something all children deserve. In our life skills classrooms,
unbelievable.
The impact was
They deserve for you people to never come in there with these dogs. If we're being honest, they deserve to not have dogs forced on them. They deserve to not be lied to and deceived. They deserve the truth about their real world relationship with these beasts. If you're going to be bringing them around, share the fact that these things attack them most of the time. Share the fact these dogs that you're bringing in there are drugged up. Share the fact that there are a lot more aggressive dogs out in the real world that are not drugged up.
Especially heartwarming. Students who may
these youngsters rubbing on this dog because they feel like they're supposed to. They're not doing it because they want to. I know that really burns you nutters up. You could clearly see it with that last student. He rubbed on that dog because he believed that's what he's instructed to do. That's pathetic and it's wrong. That's indoctrination. Forcing these students to interact with this nasty turd. This dumb, mauling, bloodthirsty mutant. This turd factory. Get out of here. The only thing you nasty nutters have done is miseducated them and contaminated these schools with dog excrement and saliva and urine.
Easily with others, found themselves reaching out, petting, hugging, connecting.
Listen to this goofy woman talking. Listen to the things that she's saying here. This is crazy.
Classrooms, the impact was especially heartwarming. Students who may not always engage easily with others found themselves reaching out, petting, hugging, connecting in ways that words sometimes can't express. And it wasn't just the kids. Our staff found joy and peace in these visits too. The dogs reminded us all to take a moment.
Shut up! These things attack millions of people every year, every day. Every day they're attacking thousands of people. I'm not about to sit and listen to you give me some lecture about how wonderful they are, you crazy nutter. These things are extremely nasty also. Not about to listen to you tell me how wonderful something that's nasty is.
Visits too. The dogs reminded us all to take a moment to breathe, to connect, and to care for our own well-being as educators.
This is wow. You cannot make this up. These people should be arrested.
And as people. This partnership with Go Team Therapy Dogs is a shining example of what happens when schools and community come together. It didn't require big budgets.
Again, you're not supposed to interact with dogs like this, even if you're an adult. Jumping in front of the dog's face, quickly putting your hands in the dog's face. And this dumb old nutter hag is not telling them to not do anything. She's not instructing them on how to interact with dogs at all, even though it's all BS.
Example of what happened.
Nothing that they do is being objected to by this brain dead nutter hag. They're teaching them to treat dogs and look at dogs like toys. Something that whenever you want, you can just go up to and start rubbing and touching and moving and jumping on. You idiots. What is wrong with y'all? You're a bunch of idiots. Look at her reaching in her bag for some food. Like a big dummy. And this mutt is only concerned about food. It's barely awake. Even though it's heavily drugged up, the only sense that works is its desire to beg for food. That's why it's all licking. Look at him, ignoring them. Don't tell me this is therapeutic for anybody. And this is so disgusting. The only time these things pay attention to you is when they're sniffing on you or licking you. Other than that, these brain dead mutant turd beasts are brainless and dumb acting. Boy, this is insanity.
Therapy dog visits brought all of that and more. And we are so grateful. We hope this is the beginning of a lasting partnership. And we look forward to welcoming our four-legged friends back again soon.
Wow. Man, could you imagine being in a classroom like this? You would have the option to either get up and leave before she went on her stupid, nasty dog tour. Or if you're sitting there, you would have to say, keep that dog away from me. Refuse to touch it. But the way and they have cameras on the students, putting pressure on them to interact with the dog. And if they don't, you're a bad person. You don't want to be a bad person now. And again, not all students rub on this thing, and they don't point that out. This is crazy. This is insane. And this is a recent report. Wait a minute. These people need to be stopped. This was uploaded 5 days ago. These people need to be stopped. You're not going to hear about this on the news or anywhere else. But dog culture is one of the most despicable, inhumane, shameful, evil, nasty cultures. It's top 3. I'm so happy that negative press is being put out about dogs. Information that doesn't glorify them. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Knowing that I'm putting out that type of content and I don't have to lie to do it. They always have to lie when they want to project dogs in a positive image, in a positive way. It always has to be a lie with a bunch of drugged up dogs. I don't have to lie on these mutants. I don't have to lie on their behavior. I don't have to lie on the behavior of their owners or the victims that they impose these dogs. I don't have to lie on anybody. Just tell the truth and remove the lies that they inserted into it, your dog culture critic. That's a shame. Shout out to all of you able to join me for this live stream. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.